I keep my goals to myself, cause whenever I share it with folks, they get a look upon their face and their memory floats to a time where their goals and the stars ain't...
What's good? Smackdown was actually pretty decent. The ending of the show was great. Randy Orton turned heel, viciously assaulted Cody Rhodes, left him in a pool of his own blood. So Randy is officially heel, which is great. Crowd loved it. I loved it. Excellent stuff here. Hopefully Randy will win come Mania 42. But this is great, and this definitely needed to happen. Trick Williams got the biggest win of his career thus far. He beat Jacob Fatu with help from Drew McIntyre, who quit his job, who quit SmackDown for 2 hours and some change, and then came back to work and beat up Jacob Fatu, setting up their feud for WrestleMania 42, which is fine. And I'm digging the Miz and Danhausen stuff. That's fun. That is fun. Other than that, this show was pretty boring and mediocre. And SmackDown has been that way for quite some time. So we're going to get into SmackDown from March 13th, 2026. So we kicked the show off with Drew McIntyre, who is pissed off, and he wants Nick Aldis to give him, to make things right, basically. He wants Nick Aldis to make things right. Nick Aldis says, no, that's not going to happen. He lost to Cody last week, fair and square. Drew says that this is bullshit. So Jacob Fatu shows up. Jacob Fatu tells Drew McIntyre there's nothing to fix. He said that if it wasn't for him, Drew wouldn't be champion in the first place. So he fixed the situation to make sure that Drew wasn't champion. So Drew then responds by saying that he's done with Jacob Fatu, he's done with Cody Rhodes, and he's done with Nick Aldis. So he just basically quits and says that, he's done. So he bounces out. That's fine. That's the end of the first segment. Okay. Moving on from that, this leads us into the MFTs and Solo Sikoa. They're talking about holding on to the Wyatt 6 lantern. Then they walk away. Tama Tonga, he's met with Nakamura, who wants to know when Tama Tonga will be his own man. Solo shows up, steps in, and tells Nakamura to leave his family the hell alone. And that was that. So this then leads us into Jacob Fatu. He's pissed off about Drew McIntyre quitting before he can take an ass whooping. So Trick Williams says he's the only one doing the whooping around here. So Jacob Fatu, he's pissed off. He's full of vinegar. He gets in the face of Trick Williams, which was funny. And he gets into the face of Nick Aldis as well. Trick tells Nick to do his job. And so Nick Aldis books Trick Williams versus Jacob Fatu for later on in the show, which is fine. Okay, that's fine. Good shit there. Moving on, this leads us into the first match of the night. The MFT, Solo Sikoa, and Tama Tonga, they defeat Uncle Howdy and Eric Rowan. Don't give a shit about any of this nonsense. Who cares? No, my bad. The Wyatt 6 win. So I don't care about any of this. Tama Tonga, post-match, he blindsides Uncle Howdy, and he takes back the lantern, and that was it. I don't care about any of this nonsense. This is a waste of time. Who cares? Who really fucking cares about any of this? This Wyatt 6 MOT stuff needs to end. It is boring. Moving on, this leads us into Damian Priest and R-Truth. They're backstage talking about what went down with the MOTs. So, R-Truth is confusing them with the Judgment Day. So Los Garza shows up. They talk about tag team turmoil last week. And even though R-Truth and Damian Priest are number one contenders, they're willing to have a match against the Garzas. Okay, that's fine there. Good shit there. Moving on. This leads us into a backstage promo involving Kiana James and Julia. So she just says some words, basically. So it's not really all that important. I don't know why this even occurred. Jade Cargill, next up, she defeats Michin, a.k.a. Mia Yim. I thought that B-Fab was going to come out and turn on Michin, but it didn't happen, so it is what it is. Match went about, 7-8 minutes, basically. A little bit too long, in my opinion, but it's fine. Jade wins via the Jaded. She throws Michin into the barricade with a crucifix bomb, and then she hits the Jaded for the 1, 2, 3. So Jade Cargill was supposed to have an interview with Charlie Caruso, but it didn't happen. So she snatched the mic. She says, what happens to Michin? What happened to Michin is what happens when these women believe in their own hype. The ladies backstage go silent when she's around, but for some reason the world says she's supposed to be afraid of one woman. She isn't saying she is. So she promises to beat Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, showing why she's always on top. So then Rhea shows up. So Jade Cargill gets out of Dodge. Rhea gets on the mic and says that Jade's been running her mouth, but now she's running away from a fight. Rhea says that Jade isn't the epitome of female empowerment. She promises that the champ will be her bitch come WrestleMania. Okay, so whatever. It is what it is. It's just fine, I guess. All right, moving on from that, this leads us into Cody Rhodes. He's backstage talking to Nick Aldis, who tells the champ to focus on the contract signing. So Sami Zayn shows up again. He says that he wanted to come in and congratulate Cody Rhodes. He's rooting for Cody Rhodes at Mania. Cody Rhodes doesn't want to make this a thing either, but he recalls Sami saying this to Randy as well. Cody wants to get to the root of all this, asking if Sami Zayn wants a title shot, but Sami Zayn says he talked to Randy because he looks up to Randy. He doesn't look up to Cody because both of them are friends, and friends are supposed to be equals, which is true. That's 1,000% correct right there. Cody may be walking into WrestleMania as a champion again, but in his mind, they're equals. So don't talk down to him. Cody says he's not talking down to Sami Zayn, addressing Sami's point about looking up to him before saying he can just look at this. And then he points to the title, and that was it. So Sami's pissed off. He's irate. And he destroys some equipment. Aleister Black and Zelina Vega, they show up. Aleister Black talks about maybe this isn't the title for Sami, trying to get into the head of Sami Zayn, playing mind games with him. Until Sami Zayn said he needs to stay far, far away from him, and then that was it. So that's fine there. This makes sense, I guess. I don't know what they're doing with Sami Zayn. I really don't. Sami Zayn's not going to have a WrestleMania match for this year. Same thing, I think, with Trick Williams. I know people have said online, oh, you should do Sami Zayn and Trick Williams. It's like, no. That's total Smackdown stuff. That's for Smackdown. You can get away with doing their match on television. It's the same thing with Ilya and Carmelo Hayes. It's like, they're not going to have a WrestleMania match, right? unless Carmella does like a multi-man something, at Mania, basically. But damn, do you want that? No. It's like so many people are gonna get the short end of the stick and not make it to Mania. They're not gonna be a part of Mania. Not even on like the pre-show, because WWE doesn't do pre-show matches anymore, and they haven't done pre-show matches in months. Well, actually, no, not months, but years. That was a Vince thing, right? Triple H was like, no, fuck that. We're just having Sam Roberts and company come out there for 2 hours and just talk about the match card, and that's it. So it is what it is. But a lot of people are going to be missing WrestleMania. They're going to be disappointed. So moving on, this leads us into Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. They're about to get ready for their match against Nia Jax and Lash Legend. The Bellas, they come out. They get a pretty decent pop. So Nikki gets on the mic to hype up the crowd. She says to Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, they're not here to wish them luck, but to announce that they got next with the champions. They got the next shot. So whoever wins, okay, that's fine. Who cares? So it's a no contest involving Lash Legend and Nia Jax and Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Because Nia Jax and Lash Legend, they attacked the Bellas. The Bellas got involved in the match. Referee threw it out. So we know where this is going. It's going to be a triple threat at Mania for the titles. Like, come on. It's clear as fucking day. Come on. Moving on. So this leads us into Jelly Roll. He's backstage. He's chatting it up with R-Truth. And then Damian Priest, he shows up. R-Truth mentioned Sushi Roll. So then Jelly Roll meets Randy Orton. The two of them, they chatted up for a brief moment. Randy puts over Jelly Roll for becoming a 3-time Grammy winner. And then there's that. So, whatever. Moving on, this leads us into the Bellas. They're backstage. They confront Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. Whatever. I don't care about any of this nonsense. Who gives a damn? R-Truth and Damian Priest, they defeat Los Garza. Los Garza is great. They are amazing. They should be on AAA, but they're not. Or if not in AAA, they should be at least in NXT. They're not there. They're, at least they're still here. I thought they may have been quietly released. I'm being serious with this shit too. Like, I'm a fan of the Garzas. I'm a fan. I really am. And Triple H didn't seem to give a damn about the Garzas for whatever reason. I have no idea why. But, I mean, they're there. Like, put these guys in AAA. Or send these guys to NXT for a little while. Like, damn. Like, actually, like, use these guys. Like, your tag division on Smackdown is other shit. Speaking of your tag division, where the fuck are the Street Profits? Pardon my French, but where are the Street Profits? We've not seen them for months. Like, is Montez Ford, is he injured along with his wife, Bianca Belair? Like, is he injured? Is Enzo Dawkins, is he injured? Like, where are the Street Profits? We've not seen them in months. We have not seen them in months. I can't even remember the last time we've seen them on television. I can't even remember. It would have to be sometime last year. And I don't know, man. I really don't know what Triple H is doing, but it's not good. So, R-Truth and Damian Priest, they get the win. Moving on from that, this leads us into Johnny Gargano, along with his wife, Candice LeRae. Don't really care about any of this. Johnny Gargano's still moping about nonsense. It doesn't matter. So, Alex Shelley is confronted by Chris Sabin, who's focused on handling Motor City Machine Gun business. And he says that they got a match with Axiom next week. Okay, whatever. I really don't care about any of this, really. I like the Motor City Machine Guns. I really do. They're pretty okay, but seriously, if you don't have any real plans for them, just send them to NXT or actually send them to AAA, right? I don't know, man. Whatever. Moving on. Miz, he's out next. He's met by Danhausen. He offers him a t-shirt for his new mentor. So, Miz wonders why Danhausen has a shirt so soon. Danhausen's like, he got his own shirt the first day, which that is true. So Danhausen talks about getting his own show with the big celebrity guest. Maybe it'll replace Miz TV. So Miz ain't having none of that shit. So he begins to shout at Danhausen. So Danhausen says, really? To Miz several times. And then Miz tries to respond. And then he curses Miz again. And then that was it. So that was hilarious there. Moving on, this leads us into Miz TV. Miz TV really didn't say much of anything. He says he's a locker room leader and everything else. Jelly Roll comes out to a pretty decent reaction. Talks about being friends with Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes and everything else. Nothing really happens. Miz just runs down Jelly Roll, being overweight at one point and everything else. Jelly Roll mentions SummerSlam, I think from 2024. Yeah, basically about 2 years ago. So Kit Wilson, he shows up. He makes fun of Jelly Roll and everything else. He calls him fat phobic, which is hilarious. So Jelly Roll has a stare down with Kit Wilson. And then Kit Wilson gets out of dodge. The Miz takes the punch. Miz is out. And then Kit Wilson, he drags Miz out of the ring. So, there's that. Whatever. Moving on, this leads us into Carmelo Hayes. He confronts Ilya Dragunov about not going after the U.S. Championship. So Dragunov says he can't fight Melo because he's still fighting with himself. What the hell? What does that even make? It's like, bro, turn Dragunov heel. Just turn him heel. Like, come on. Like, stop with these long-ass, drawn-out, slow heel turns. Just turn him heel. Like, it's sad that Carmelo Hayes has no real momentum into WrestleMania. Like he's got nothing to do with Mania. He probably won't even make the WrestleMania card. If he does, it'll be like a multi-man match. Like, it's pathetic. Like, it's so sad that Carmelo Hayes doesn't really have anything going for him. The U.S. title is just a prop, if we're being honest. And he has no real feud at all. He more than likely will not make a WrestleMania card, and that's not good. He's been on the main roster for, 2 years? 2 years. And this is what he's doing. I really don't know. I don't fucking know. Moving on. So, Tiffany Stratton, she begins to address Julia and Chelsea Green. Kiana James, my bad. Chelsea Green shows up, and then she pushes her wheelchair, which is hilarious. So, there's that. This leads us into a backstage segment involving Kit Wilson, along with The Miz. He's going to talk to Nick Aldis to address what Jelly Roll just did moments ago. So there's that. So Danhausen shows up. He asks if Jimmy Jam knocked any of his teeth out. As he could use some for his jar. So Miz is pissed off, and then Danhausen offers Miz one way that he can reverse the curse. So Miz says there's no curse, and then Danhausen disappears again, which is hilarious. So there's that. That's cool there. Moving on. Tiffany Stratton defeats Kiana James. Kiana James is looking good. So Chelsea Green, she kind of gets involved briefly. But Alba Fire, stops her and everything else. So Tiffany Stratton hits the PM the PME for the 1, 2, 3. So it is what it is. Who really cares about that? Moving on, this leads us into Trick Williams. He has a backstage segment. He says he's going to take out Jacob Fatu. So Sami Zayn shows up, and he runs down Trick Williams over his, recent events and how he's been acting. Trick says Sami Zayn's lucky he's got a match tonight, but Sami says he's easy to find. So I'm guessing they're going to do Sami Zayn and Trick Williams at some point, maybe. But again, that's not WrestleMania worthy. Like, you could do that shit on Smackdown. You really could, And again, Trick Williams, he's only been on the main roster for about, maybe at best 3 months. I think he did his debut, a week or two before Christmas, if I'm not mistaken. So this leads us into Trick Williams defeating Jacob Fatu with the help of Drew McIntyre. This match was pretty good, actually. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Really good stuff here, I think Jacob is like 6'2", 6'3". Trick is 6'5". So this is really good. So Drew McIntyre showed up. He got involved, beat up Jacob Fatu, threw him back into the ring. Trick Williams hit 2 trick shots to take him out for the 1, 2, 3, and Trick Williams wins. Post-match, Drew McIntyre claymores Jacob Fatu, and that was that was it. So basically, this leads us into the closing segment of the show, which was Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. They had a contract signing. So Nick Aldis, he introduced both guys, but before that, he welcomed Drew McIntyre back to work, basically, and says that it's going to be Drew versus Jacob Fatu for next week. Okay, we know that's not going to happen at all anyway. So, this is just going to prolong their Mania match. We know it's going to be Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania. It's clear as day. All right. So Cody Rhodes comes out. He puts over Randy Orton and everything, and how they've been friends and all that stuff, and how he had his first match against Randy Orton and everything. So Randy is about to get on the mic. Cody Rhodes still props up Randy and puts him over and everything else. Then Randy Orton just punches Cody. He low blows him, throws him into the announce table a couple times, beats him up there. He gets some steel steps, busts him open. Cody Rhodes is bleeding profusely. Randy shoves Nick Aldis. Then Randy gets a steel chair. He hits Cody Rhodes in the head with it, which was great. And then he poses with the WWE Undisputed Championship, and that was the show. This was great. The fans loved it. I loved it. This is really, really good stuff here. This was great. This was done beautifully. Randy Orton being heel is excellent. I thought we were gonna get heel Orton after his match with Cody at Mania, like immediately after he turned heel, but thankfully they went ahead and pulled the trigger tonight, which was great, and that's excellent. So really good stuff there. I do like this. I really, really do. Randy needs to win at WrestleMania. No questions asked. Randy Orton needs to win. Cody should chase Randy. This feud should last from WrestleMania till probably SummerSlam. And even still, Randy should still walk away as champion come SummerSlam. Cody Rhodes should not be champion for a while. And I'm a fan of Cody, but the booking of Cody has been atrocious. Why? Because Triple H doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. So there is that. But all in all, SmackDown was boring outside of what happened with Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. And I like what they did with Trick Williams getting a win over Jacob Fatu, so that was pretty good there. But other than that, and the Danhausen Miz stuff, that was pretty cool there too. Other than that, this show was just grade A garbage. But what did you guys think? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.